2025 is here. A new year and a new beginning, and yet another chance for us to pursue everything that our heart aspires for. Well, if you are interested in Danish citizenship and have been following the controversy that developed over the last couple of months and towards the end of 2024, then you must be wondering, how did the matter land? What came out of the negotiations in the Parliament? Were there any changes to the Danish citizenship rules after all? Well, this video is going to help bring clarity to all of those questions. So what happened towards the end of 2024? Let's tackle that first. A Danish political party, Liberal Alliance, came up with the proposal that the government should consider making 8 changes to the existing Danish citizenship rules. So Liberal Alliance came forward with this proposal sometime around November of 2024. And these were pretty big requests, proposals for changes, which kind of rattled every Danish citizenship applicant. So while this was in the air, another thing happened, that they invited 3 members out of the blue, 3 people who were listed on the Danish citizenship bill, for an interview with the citizenship committee, Indfødsretsudvalg. And they were invited to come and personally be in an interview and defend some comments they had made in the social media many years ago. So this was a very unprecedented move. And following this interview, which was quite a harrowing experience one can imagine for these 3 odd individuals, 3 random individuals out of a list of 2,000 people in the list, Liberal Alliance and Danish Folkeparti believed that 2 out of those 3 individuals should be removed from the Danish citizenship bill. Right? So these 2 events, the proposal of making 8 changes, along with removing 2 names from the citizenship bill altogether following their interview, were pretty big news, pretty big requests. And this is what the Danish government had to deal with or tackle or to take a decision on. And this is what was the core of the controversy that was, lying thick in the air and bothering anybody who is in the throes of applying for citizenship. Because if you are an applicant, you are wondering, is my application going to be endangered? Even though I'm on the bill, is the bill going to pass? A lot of questions and predicaments are naturally to be faced by any aspirant. So if you want to know more details into what those proposed changes were, I have addressed those changes clearly in a separate video, which you might want to check out. The link is right here. And so coming back to how the controversy was handled. Now, in order to understand how a citizenship bill is passed, you have to know how it is tackled in the Parliament. So what is the citizenship bill firstly? Danish citizenship can only be acquired or granted to an individual by the Danish Parliament, which means after an individual has met the objective criteria for Danish citizenship, after they have put in an application and the application has been accepted, their name actually appears in a bill. And such a bill is introduced in the Parliament 2 times a year, once in April of a year and the second time in October of any year. So in October 2024, what happened? This bill L63 was introduced, and like is the procedure, any bill has to be tabled thrice, 3 times, and thereafter it will be discussed and negotiated by all parties before it is formally accepted and taken up. So the bill L63, like is the procedure, was first introduced towards the end of October 2024, and the second tabling discussion negotiation happened on the 17th of December 2024, and the third and final negotiation of the bill happened on 19 December 2024. Now, Liberal Alliance had said very clearly that by the third and final negotiation of the bill, they had really put pressure on the government, on the current Danish government, to accept these proposed 8 changes. Tension was thick in the air. We were all keeping our fingers crossed. We were really waiting with bated breath as to how is this matter going to land. Will the Danish government yield to Liberal Alliance's demands? Which party is going to vote how? And will these 2 individuals out of the blue, who were randomly picked for their comments on social media and thereafter interrogated and were sitting on tender hooks, are they going to be bumped off the bill? That was the big question. Now, here is the outcome, right? On 17th December, during the second negotiation of the bill, the government revealed that these 2 individuals will continue to remain on the bill and thereby not removed. Hallelujah, right? So that was the first big news as part of the controversy was concerned. That was the first big revelation that came out of the second negotiations. On the very same day, the government revealed on the uim.dk website that the government will consider setting up an expert committee to explore possibilities for setting up a process whereby all citizenship applicants are screened for their democratic values and their democratic sentiments. And what will such a committee do? Such a committee is likely to explore what are the economic costs, what are the administrative costs, what are the process through which such a screening can be carried out before a political decision can be taken of, introducing such a process by which citizenship applicants can actually be screened. And what will be screened? Basically, their social media profiles will be screened to see if they have been making any anti-democratic comments or if they are aligned with Danish democratic values. So that was also a very big introduction of a news. It's just a news. It shows what the government's intentions are going forward around this matter. Now, Liberal Alliance had said that by the third negotiation of the bill, that is 19th of December, we want these 8 proposals to be considered and hopefully be taken up so that changes are introduced to the Danish Citizenship Bill. And the government, thankfully, stood its ground and did not yield to Liberal Alliance's demands, and no changes have been introduced to the current Danish citizenship rules. So that was the biggest outcome, that by the final day of 19 December, where we were all holding our breath to see how these things are going to land, we were relieved and it came as a breath of fresh air that the government stood its ground, that all those people who had met objectively the criteria for Danish citizenship would continue to remain on the bill, and no further changes were introduced to the Danish citizenship criteria here and now. And that is the status here and now. So 3 big takeaways. A, no current changes, no immediate changes to the Danish citizenship rules. The 2 individuals who were expected, who there was a request to remove them, they continue to be on the bill and thereby acquire citizenship. And finally, the government has revealed that it will create an expert committee which will investigate and explore possibilities of screening Danish citizenship applicants going forward. And by screening, we mean screening social media profiles. Those were the 3 big takeaways. Now, having said that, I think it only makes good sense that people who are going to apply for citizenship going forward, that they should be a little more careful about what they write on the digital sphere, that you really take care of how you express your sentiments and what kind of digital footprints you leave behind. Yes, we have a lot of varied perspectives and opinions. But sometimes the nuances can be amiss when we write a comment in a reactive moment of strong feelings. And it's just a good time to sit back and reflect on the fact that, yeah, your comments and how we express ourselves online has some kind of repercussion. That does not mean that we don't have free speech, but it's more a question of how you are perceived by a third party, how you express your sentiments and what you write, and whether you write it in a nuanced fashion or not may or may not be understood correctly by a third party. So that would be an important takeaway. Now, that said, when the third negotiations were completed, everybody on the bill L63 is now in a position to acquire Danish citizenship, because as of 1st January 2025, that bill is now formally taken up and is a law, which means, according to the next steps, everybody who is in that L63, you will just now have to appear in a constitution ceremony, which is a Grundlov ceremony in your commune between 1st of February or 1st of May. That's the typical time frame when your commune will set up such a ceremony. And then you will appear in that ceremony. You will have to sign a throw or laws, declaring a document saying that you abide and you promise to uphold Danish constitution and values and be a good citizen of the country. And then you will appear in the ceremony, and you will shake hands with the mayor, and the mayor will give you a certificate, which is your statsborgerretsbevis, which is your certificate which says that you are now formally a Danish citizen. So everybody whose name is on L63, a big congratulations for coming this far. This time it was particularly nail-biting because there was so much controversy and the likelihood of the negotiations going awry or some big change happening. But nothing of the kind, thankfully, happened. So the bill is very much has been passed. Yes, some parties abstained from voting, some parties actively voted against it. But that said, the government still had a majority in favor of the bill. So the bill has been passed and it is a law starting 1st of January 2025. Congratulations to everyone appearing on L63. Now, that was the long and short of the controversy that had developed towards the end of 2024. We have to, of course, be alert and keep an eye out for if there are any changes to be introduced in Danish citizenship criteria going forward. It will come as no surprise if the laws are made more strict and more restrictive, thereby taking in fewer names in the bill. But that is speculative. That would be understandable, but speculative at the moment. It's not something we should worry about. We should, of course, be alert and be careful of how we conduct ourselves on online spaces and how we express ourselves. Yes, we have freedom of expression, but it is important to know that what we say should be understood correctly, right? I wish you all the best in your process of applying for Danish citizenship. If this video has brought you clarity and has helped you in any way, then please do show your support and appreciation by subscribing to this channel. That will give me the encouragement to make more informative videos. And yes, this is also a channel which will be bringing more podcasts with members of the diaspora, migrants, expats, however you identify yourself. So please do keep watching. Till we meet next time, take care of yourself, have a great 2025, and see you soon. Bye-bye.